Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, thank you very much for this opportunity to appear before you today as the President's nominee to be Deputy Secretary of Agriculture. I am deeply humbled by this opportunity to make a positive difference for rural America. I also want to thank my former colleague from Senator Jim Abner's office and now your colleague, Senator John Thune, for that very kind introduction. Senator Abner taught both John and me the value that public service can have to positively impact our nation. With me today is my wife of 25 years and my best friend, Carmen, along with my daughters, Abigail and Emma. They are my biggest champions and sources of sound advice. So thank you very much for your support. I'd also like to recognize my sister and her husband, my mother and father-in-law, my sister-in-law and niece, who always give me love and support. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge friends, colleagues, and American Soybean Association leaders, and also recognize Secretary Perdue. What a nice surprise and treat it is, and really shows great support to have you here, Mr. Secretary, so thank you very much. As they might say in sunny Perdue's neck of the woods rather than mine, I appreciate all y'all's support. I'm proud to say that I was born on a farm near Jackson, Minnesota. My father, Harry, was a farmer. He grew soybeans, corn, and alfalfa, and like many farms of the era, also had a small diversified livestock operation. My mother, Gladys, worked as a reporter for the local newspaper and always took the greatest joy in writing stories about rural life. My sister, Jolene, and I grew up doing chores every day and entering all manner of projects in both 4-H and FFA. My mom, in particular, was a strong Democrat, and although she might be a bit chagrined that I continue to work in Republican administrations, I know that both my parents are looking down and smiling today. In fact, the bipartisan approach that this committee has taken to the issues facing farmers, ranchers, and consumers is something about which all of you should feel very proud. As a leader of the American Soybean Association for the last 23 years, we too worked on a bipartisan basis, and I saw the value that approach has. If confirmed, you have my commitment to be open and responsive to all points of view. As has been mentioned, after my time with Senator Abner, I worked in the Reagan administration as assistant to the administrator of the Agriculture Marketing Service. Then in the George H.W. Bush administration, I served as the assistant to the Undersecretary of International Affairs and Commodity Programs. In that capacity, I assisted in managing our farm and trade programs. We also coordinated the administration's proposals for the 1990 Farm Bill. Secretary Perdue has already pledged to make the resources of the department available to assist Congress as you write and then pass the 2018 Farm Bill, and I look forward to assisting Secretary Perdue and all of you in that important work. I later served as Associate Administrator and then Acting Administrator of the Foreign Agricultural Service, again in the George H.W. Bush administration. There I managed and directed that agency's export programs and involvement in trade negotiations. I know that farmers and ranchers absolutely depend on trade in order to be profitable. Like you've already seen from Secretary Perdue over these past number of months, I promise to be a strong advocate for fair trade for America's farmers and ranchers. I've been asked whether there are any specific goals that I would like to advance if confirmed. At the risk of omitting other worthy goals, I've identified 3 areas that I think are very important to current, but perhaps more importantly, future generations. 1, diversification of markets. This includes expanding foreign trade and promotion of local and regional food markets. In addition, diversification of crops through research, extension, and crop insurance coverage. 2, preparation for and adaptation to changing weather and climate. Our agriculture production systems and forests truly are on the front line of impact of changes in weather and climate. I believe USDA has an inherent responsibility to help our farmers, ranchers, and forests become more resilient. And 3, expansion of broadband to rural America. Broadband can be transformative. From precision agriculture that allows our farmers to farm more sustainably to promotion of rural development and jobs, America's rural areas need broadband. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, thank you for your consideration of my nomination to be Deputy Secretary of Agriculture. I look forward to answering any questions you may have.